realizing that just because they're on paper does not mean they're not people was something that really got driven home to me after this last writers conference, more so than I've ever had. And I've been writing for about 12 years. I would always bring in the authority figures as, the hard asses, the hard noses, the ones that would, be the quasi-antagonist to the main character. And I realized that in large part, they're actually not. Yes, in the news, you hear stories of cops that really lean a little heavy on their badge, that really kind of have an adversarial attitude, but in large part, they don't. The one takeaway I got is that some of these people realize that, who they're talking to, who they're talking about, who they're investigating, where they are situations that their own family could have been in. And they kind of want to go home to their family because they need the escape from, what they've seen and what they've dealt with. And realizing that victims aren't always the helpless damsel in distress that people like to make them out to be. Sometimes they're perfectly willing to go on a crusade and get revenge, if not justice. That the villains are not always, or the criminals I should say, are not always the calculating, plotting, evil villains, with the handlebar mustache and everything, and, Snidely Whiplash and, always trying to do in Little Nell. Sometimes it's just a series of unfortunate events that bring things to a certain spot. Everybody's destiny and karma, whatever, coming together in a very unfortunate combination. Sometimes it's something people can't help. And adding in those variables into my writing makes it, and even right now I'm going back over one of my manuscripts and I'm trying to see exactly how I could have expanded on that and give it more of a multi-dimensional aspect instead of the two-dimensional. I think that has been the most important thing, and it's kind of inspired me to attack this a little bit more and a little bit more in earnest, because it felt like I honestly have to confess that sometimes I thought that my writing was just really a glorified creative writing assignment. And I remember when I was in high school, one of the sages of our times, Burton Porter, was my creative writing teacher. And he did not so much try to tell you how you had to do it. He would give little talks, he would give little pointers, he would give you aspects that it should, this is what a good story would contain. And then he'd set you to it. Then he'd submit it to him. You had to do one every day. You had to turn it in, and you had one that you had to read at the end of every week. After that, you would all discuss it. And he would read your thing, and he would give, little commentaries at class. And I didn't think too much of it. I thought, I'm just writing this. I'm phoning it in. I want to get the grade. And it's only been, 40 years since I've had his class that I'm starting to realize the value of how he didn't tell you what you're supposed to do. He helped you discover what you should do and how to try this. And if you did a really good job, he would acknowledge it. And, he'd try to encourage, he'd point out mistakes, but he tried to fashion you and help you develop, not mold you, sculpt you, shape you, and put you into a cookie cutter, a writing style or whatnot. He never compared you to, Hemingway or Faulkner or Whittier or anybody. He didn't even compare you to the other students. He always talked to you for you, because you weren't going to be the next Walt Whitman or Stephen King or JRR Tolkien. You were going to be the first you. And I am really grateful for Mr. Porter instilling that attitude in me, because that's what I've always tried to be. The first me, not the next anybody else. And being out there with other writers that are actually trying to do the same thing. I've been to writing conferences and everything for a number of years, and they've been fun, but I've never connected with it all like I did this last time at the Writers Police Academy. And I'm already looking forward to the next one.